Hey guys, my name is Michaela and welcome to my booktube channel. Today I thought I would hop on here and make my first video in a long time. So today we're going to be doing the Booktube Newbie tag, and I also have some questions from the new to Booktube tag. The Booktube Newbie tag was created by Brenda C, right? Yeah. And then the new to Booktube tag was created by Trina from Between Chapters. So credit to them. Alright, so first question is from the new to Booktube tag, and it says, where are you joining us from? I am from East Tennessee. How old am I? I am 19 years old. My birthday is in October, so in a few months' time I will be 20, which is very scary now that I think about it, because I'm almost out of my teenage years completely, which is strange, and I don't like to think about it. Why did you join Booktube? I joined Booktube just to find new friends and talk about books, because I don't really have very many people in my life that read. At least if they do read, they don't read as much as I do, so it's kind of hard to find other people to talk about books with. So that is my hope for being here on Booktube, to find new people to talk about books with and just gush about all my favorites, because who doesn't want to do that? What is the meaning behind your channel name? So, fun story, I actually have been I started Booktube back in 2015, I think, and I was posting videos way back then. And so back then my name was Michaela Reads here on YouTube. However, recently I've gone through a channel name crisis and have tried to figure out what name I would prefer to have my channel called, because I wanted something a little more unique. So it was really hard, and I had to put a poll on Twitter to see what people liked, and it was kind of split in half between keeping Michaela Reads and creating my new channel name. So I decided to go with Michaela Rose Cresswell, which is, it is not my, the middle and last names are not my real name. They are actually inspired by two of my absolute favorite book characters. So if you know the reference, if you know where Rose and Cresswell are from, you a real one, and we need to talk about that book and that series because I love it. Granted, I haven't actually finished the entire series, but I've read the first one. But in case you didn't know what my channel name is from, Rose is a nod, I guess you could say. Is that weird to say that? I don't know. Rose is a reference to Audrey Rose from the Stalking Jack the Ripper series by Carrie Moniscalco. Stalking Jack the Ripper is one of my absolute favorite books of all time. I love it. I love to hear about other people reading it. And if you do read it, let me know. Find me on Twitter or something and let's talk about it, because I love that book so much and I really love to talk about it. And then the last little bit, Cresswell, is also a reference to a book character in Stalking Jack the Ripper. And that entire series, it is in reference to Thomas Cresswell, whom I love. So yeah, that is where my channel name comes from. Rose from Audrey Rose and Cresswell from Thomas Cresswell. What type of books do you read and want to talk about here? I read mainly young adult fiction, which is pretty much, I feel like, the norm on Booktube. I do feel like we need some more representation on Booktube as far as books people are reading, because it is more YA based. I personally have not branched out much, but one of my goals for the last half of this year is to actually branch out and read more genres that I don't. So I want to definitely read more new adult and more adult books. If you have any recommendations for books to read that are new adult or adult, put them in the comments and let me know so I can put them on one of my TBRs for a month and try them out. Who are some of your favorite authors? I honestly don't know how to answer this question. Here's why. I do have authors that I love their work, I love their writing, but I feel like I haven't read enough by specific authors in order for me to say that, oh, they're my favorite. What is the last book you read? The last book I read was Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I loved it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and yeah, it was amazing. I'm not one that tends to read science fiction. When I'm reading YA, my favorite thing is fantasy. I love fantasy so much. So I don't read a lot of science fiction, but that was so good. I love it. It's like a sci-fi dystopian type thing. And yeah, Scythe is just amazing. And if you haven't read it, try it out because it's so good. And next, what are you currently reading? I am also reading another book by Neil Shusterman, which is actually the sequel to Scythe, and that is called Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman. I'm loving this just the same as Scythe. It is amazing. Literally, I can't even fathom how much I'm loving that book. So, check it out because that series is amazing. Reading 4 books at once, I really need to stop doing that, but I do it all the time. One book I'm reading is One of Us is Lying by Karen N. McManus. This is a library copy because I do not own it. I do use the library frequently because it is such a great service. Everyone should be using their library, but yeah. This is One of Us is Lying by Karen N. McManus. I am buddy reading this with someone on Twitter, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I didn't expect myself to like it as much as I am because it is a YA contemporary. Back in 2015, I used to read a ton of contemporaries, but now I'm not really interested in them as much, especially contemporaries that take place in high school because I'm in college now. High school is in my past. I honestly hated all 4 years of high school, so I don't like to read books about them because, you know, who wants to go back there? I mean, I don't, so I don't typically like to read any high school settings. However, this one actually is pretty good, and it did surprise me, so hopefully I can finish this soon. The next book I'm reading is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. This is the first time I've read this book, which is shocking, I guess, to some people, because I feel like a lot of people on Booktube especially, and if you are a huge reader, you have read this book, the series in general. The movie just came out, and I haven't watched it. I've been holding it off because I have not read this, but I'm buddy reading this book with 2 girls on Twitter, and I'm buddy reading with a lot of people currently. So I'm going to link all of their YouTube channels down below, so if you would like to watch more Booktube, go check them out because they are really great people, and I'm sure that, well, I'm friends now with several of them. Definitely have made some friends from Twitter, but we are buddy reading this, and I'm super excited to get through it. We're probably going to read the series all together. Like, once we finish this book, we're probably going to read the rest of the series, but I'm buddy reading this with Heather and Ilsen. And then the last book I'm reading is actually a new release. It was released this month, I believe, but y'all, I think we'll be watching this in June, so it's been released in May. But that book is Red, White, and Royal Blue. I've been buddy reading this with 3 other girls, and I'm really enjoying this. Buddy reading this with Heather, Chanelle, and fatou. I'm so sorry if I butchered that name, oh my gosh, but again, their channels will be in the description below as well, so be sure to check them out. Share some love with them. They're amazing. I love their channels. I love them as people, and I'm sure you would enjoy their content if you enjoy mine. Hopefully you do enjoy mine. What do you use for bookmarks? I actually have this cut tissue box full of bookmarks that I pick and choose from every time I read a book. So I do try to collect bookmarks, and I absolutely love them. I get a lot of them from like Books A Million and Barnes & Noble. This is one of my favorites. It has an M on it for Michaela. Here's The Fault in Our Stars one. I don't know. I have all kinds of different ones. I have used receipts for bookmarks, gum wrappers. I've actually gotten a piece of notebook paper and folded it and slipped that in the book to use it. So I've used a ton of things. I've used movie tickets, everything. Next question is, which do you prefer, hardcover or paperback books? I love paperbacks because they are compact and you can carry more of them with you because they're lighter, they're smaller, and they're cheaper most of the time. I feel like I most of the time buy paperback books. However, I do love hardback books, and I guess I prefer them because they last longer, they're sturdier, they're nicer, it's harder to tear them up. When I read paperbacks, I'm always like paranoid that I'm going to break them, like crack the spine and stuff. I hate that, and I don't want it to happen. So hardbacks are easier when it comes to me and my book anxiety. Next question is, what book or series got you into reading? I have been reading ever since I was a toddler. In the first place, I started reading because my grandfather always read the Dr. Seuss books to me when I was younger. Growing up, my grandmother, while she was working on my hair, I would always grab the Dr. Seuss books and sit there and read them by myself when I was old enough to actually know how to read. And so it kind of just evolved from there. Eventually I switched to little middle grade chapter books. When I was in middle school, I guess, I got back into reading for the second time. Because sometime after elementary school and in middle school, I didn't read as much, and I was, I guess, more obsessed with the internet than anything. I'm not even gonna lie, I spent most of my time reading fan fiction about Justin Bieber when I was like 11 and 12, so I wasn't reading physical books. Eventually, I picked up a physical book again, and that was actually Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. Shocked? Are you? I'm not shocked at all, because, I mean, admit it, most of us read Twilight back then and we loved it. That is what got me into reading again in middle school, and then I guess in 7th or 8th grade I stopped reading again. In high school I actually got into reading again because some of my friends actually recommended that I read a lovely trilogy. That book was Divergent by Veronica Roth. So I read it. My cousin actually purchased the entire trilogy for me that year for Christmas, and so as soon as Christmas was over, like the following day, because like we got it Christmas Day night at our family dinner, that's when I got the book, and we were there late, so when I got home I was very tired and just wanted to go to bed. So I picked up Divergent the very next day, and I read it from, I guess, the 26th until the 31st. So I read it fairly quickly before New Year's, and I loved it. I loved Divergent, and it does have a cracked spine, by the way, and it makes me sad, but yeah, I absolutely loved Divergent. And then I continued on with the rest of the trilogy, loved it, and then literally, after I finished this trilogy, I went on to purchase a ton of books, and I just kept reading. How did you discover Booktube? I think the way I discovered Booktube was that I was looking up a book review for some kind of series I was interested in reading, and I think I found a booktuber's book review, and then I found the rest of their videos, and I'm pretty sure that's how I discovered Booktube. What challenges do you think you'll face with your own channel? I think my biggest challenge is going to be continuously uploading. As of right now, with that schedule, on Mondays I'm going to post regular Booktube videos like this, where I stand in front of the camera and talk to you guys about something. Who knows what it'll be. And then Thursdays, I'm planning on uploading a reading vlog every Thursday. And the last question is, where else can you find me? All of my links will be in the description. I'm also linking Booktube channels for all the girls I am buddy reading books with, so go check them out. I'm sure you will find their videos very enjoyable, just like I do. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe. Anyway, that's all for now. Have a good day, and I will see you next time.